queen protects her crown, Genesis 40:1-4-40. Sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, the king of Egypt. Pharaoh was angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the same prison where Joseph was confined. 4. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. In this story we see several characters: a cupbearer, a baker, a king, a captain of the guard, and Joseph. To better understand the story, I looked up the meaning of what a cupbearer is and found the following description in the dictionary. A cupbearer of the king was a high-ranking official in a royal court, responsible for serving wine and other drinks to the monarch, as well as tasting them first to ensure they were not poisoned. This position required great trust and honor, since the king's life depended on the discretion and loyalty of his cupbearer. Now that we know the meaning of what a cupbearer is, let us break down the story. We see that the king was angry with the cupbearer and the baker and sent them to prison. We know that the cupbearer was supposed to protect the life of the king, to ensure that the king was not poisoned. I think the reason the king was angry with the cupbearer was because the cupbearer betrayed TGE King. The king had lost trust in the cupbearer. The cupbearer was no longer fulfilling his function of protecting the king, and that is why he fell into prison. Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. Lineage, ancestry, or descent of a family, especially noble. We were chosen to be part of a noble family. In other words, royal, equal to a family of kings. That means we are not just anything. Not everyone is chosen. Ephesians 2:6-6, and God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus. We are seated with Christ in heavenly places. Where is Christ seated? On a throne. And if we are seated with him, that means we are queens. We are seated on thrones just as he is. You are royalty. You are not just anyone. You must take care of your position. In other words, protect your crown. Protect your royal position. You are not just any other woman. You are a chosen lineage. You are a royal priesthood. What is a priesthood? It is the dignity, power, and authority to carry out religious functions and administer sacraments or sacred rites. It also refers to divine power and authority, where worthy people are invested with that power to perform acts in God's name and carry out his work. What is a royal priesthood? A royal priesthood refers to a person who was chosen to be a priest, whether in their family, in their home, in their community, or in their church. Wherever it may be, that person was chosen to be a priest, and by being a chosen priest, they also become royalty. In other words, they are a king or a queen.